Oh, hello, good morning, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, germs and viri of all types and sizes. It is I, your bearded wolf god, Lobo. I decided to do a reaction video to this to respond to some of the stuff in the video, just because if I did respond in his comments, it would end up a wall of text. While I'm not necessarily averse to a wall of text, I've decided doing that to people is just kind of mean. So,
All right, so if you're struggling with inventory management in the First Ascendant, well, I have some good news for you today because the dev team has opened up about their initial plans on what they're going to be doing about that one. Plus, we have got to talk about some weird, strange things happening around DPS and what Nexon can do to solve this problem. And also a very important PSA about Caliber. More importantly, how you're actually purchasing Caliber to avoid issues in the future. And we got to talk about the ongoing bunny controversy. Now, is it simply a symptom of a much more basic problem? That's the big question. And we're going to also highlight another descendant who is kind of not used a lot in the field, more so for Colossus battles. But we're going to talk about how good your descendant can actually become to essentially compare to Bunny's power. It's really, really cool. We'll dive into that as well. And I'm going over your top comments at the end of the video with my AI companion.
Hi, welcome. I am AI Companion.
But you know what? I say we start out with a very important question, which is this one right here. Who would you take on a tropical island getaway, Valby or...
now if it was actually Valby or Bunny, I'd take Bunny because I like Bunny. I know people give Bunny a lot of hate because they don't play her and they think she's OP. No. You play Bunny and you end up loving Bunny. By and large. I would take Bunny. I would also take Viessa or
Bunny. But someone noted, hey, wrong character, Nexon. Wrong character. If we scroll down here, I think this is the answer. It says, the answer is Viessa. She can keep you and your drinks cool.
bingo. Okay, Blair's a good point. He's a cook, not just an arsonist. Glay because she'll fucking kill everything and keep you safe, like a good mom should.
Love it. I think that is 100%, no doubt, the best question. But this was also a discussion that I'm noticing becoming more commonplace here. It says inventory management and sorting through the mailbox and reactors are awful. As titled, sorting through inventory, particularly reactors, which drops like candies, is a huge chore, and I have been very selective. Any blue affixes, damage to one enemy type, elemental boost, auto, go to junk without looking. Also, the mailbox filled up like every 5 minutes, mostly junk. So it would be nice to have a filter that only the checklist, so only item meeting the list goes into the mailbox. Yeah, you know, previously I did note that this potentially could get worse and worse as we head into Season 1, Season 2, because there's going to be even more stuff that we're going to have to worry about. But Nexon did...
Okay, for anybody old enough or anybody who just likes a bit of horror who's seen the original Alien movie from 1979, does this not kind of remind you a bit of the egg chamber, for starters? 2, inventory management. Inventory management is, to me, not that difficult. Because depending on the descendant I am using, I will keep a couple of reactors. Invariably the ultimate ones. I don't keep any purples. That say in the case of Blair Tick, my most that will hit all of his abilities except the one that takes back the flames. You're number 2. Or that ticks both boxes for both, whatever, because most of the abilities and most of your ascendants are going to be 1 of 2 types, be it Dimension, Fusion, whatever. And so I'll try and get one that ticks all of it. So the damage and all that is well-rounded. Not quite the word I'm looking for, but it'll suffice. Across the board. That's the phrase I was looking for, across the board. The mailbox. The mailbox is a big complaint, but I got a sneaking suspicion there's going to be more to that in a second.
Actually leave some comments about some initial thoughts about inventory management, which leads us to their blog post here. It says, disposing of leftover items. Next is an update on items that are piling up in your consumables. There's currently no way to dispose blueprints for Descendants and weapons that you've already completed. So there are cases where players are getting multiple copies of blueprints they already own during the farming process. Now they go on to say, we've been listening to the community who have told us that there needs to be a way to dispose of these unwanted items. While we could consider simply converting them into gold or Kuiper, we want you to be rewarded with more value for your time you have put into the game.
And that is true. I want it to be more than just gold or Kuiper. This is going to branch off into another mini rant real quick. One of the complaints you always hear about is there's never enough gold or never enough Kuiper. I will point out that I'm sitting on 20 million gold and 500,000 or so Kuiper. Because I play every day, I junk everything. And gold drops everywhere. This is a looter shooter. Pick everything up.
To resolve this, the dev team is planning on a system to dismantle leftover items to get byproducts and a rotating shop system where you can exchange the byproducts for something of value. This will allow the items you obtain to have a greater value in the game. So that's actually noteworthy there, and I think that's like one step in the right direction, but we definitely need more filter
Seriously, egg chamber, alien ship
options on top of this, you know? So I think, yeah, this is going to be like the initial band-aid, and then hopefully we get something more robust in the future. I feel like the game's only going to get better with how they're listening to people and how thriving the player base is currently. Now, we got to talk about some weird DPS oddities that are happening in the game since launch that players are definitely noticing.
Okay, back to the inventory thing. One of the reasons I have so much gold is I junk most everything. I pick up. Like, unless I'm looking for a specific purple weapon that I don't have. Like, I went and ran one of the missions in Fortress so I could get a level 100 bestial organ for my Glay, because all I had was a level 95. So I went and farmed for that real quick. Or Phantom Pain, or not Enduring Legacy. What's that other assault rifle that everybody's that's so popular besides Phantom Pain? Cannot think of it, but I went and farmed for that too. So yeah, I junk everything. Hence, I have an assload of gold. And I go through and junk, and doing inventory management post missions, I end up junking. Say I'm running and farming the Rockfall mission for Codebreakers. You get all those glorious ultimate level 100 burn reactors for Lepic and Blair. I don't even look at them anymore. I just junk everything that's newly picked up. Anything that's not saved with a heart gets junked. I don't even look anymore. Now, do I have the best reactors for Blair and Lepic right now? That's in the eye of the beholder. But I still junk everything. And then I go through and junk all the random reactors that have been picked up, especially the purple ones. And so I have a lot of gold. Now, I will say this. I don't know how they'd make it click and work for, well, I do actually, for console players. But when you're on PC, if you're looking at a bunch of files in a file, say you're looking at a bunch of music files you've saved and you don't want anymore, you right click and then highlight and then drag the mouse to highlight all of them that you know, the entire list of stuff you don't want all at once, and then you right click and delete it, or left click and delete it, I should say. There needs to be a mechanic like that for inventory management, for going through and getting rid of stuff you don't want in mass. Basically, you go through and highlight it, hit J to designate it all junk, and then hit Control to junk it. That needs to be a mechanic.
See now, but check it out right here. It goes on to say, guess which has higher DPS, a fully built 500,000 DPS Thunder Cage or a gas tank. It goes on to show this clip right here of him waiting for the enemy to get near the gas tank, and look at his health. It just absolutely gets wild.
I will point out he was down some of his bar anyway, so you didn't actually lose the full half health, for one. Two, they've been putting exploding elements into games for years. They are in there for a reason, to be used. The gas tanks and, in this case, gas tanks and the ammo racks. You don't have to rely on just your weapons. You're supposed to rely on what's around you.
Wiped out by half, and you can see how much damage the Thunder Cage is actually doing right there. Now, you can also say, hey, it's his build, but it seems like a lot of people are noticing that this is just some weird, strange thing about the game. Now, I will say this.
It's not weird or strange.
About those gas tanks. I think it is kind of cool to be able to funnel enemies into them. It's extremely rewarding getting them all clustered near and, you know, having a massive explosion. That is cool. So I don't want that to change, of course, but maybe this needs to be adjusted. Sound off if you guys think that does need to be changed up.
No, leave it alone. Absolutely, just leave it alone. It is fine as it is. That is the entire purpose of those two things, of your exploding ammo racks and your gas. It is to do mass amount of damage to the maximum amount of enemies possible. That's the way the mechanics have always worked those kind of mechanics have always worked in shooters.
All right, so yeah, we got to talk about that PSA, a very important PSA about buying Caliber on PlayStation. It says, TLDR, do not buy Caliber via the PlayStation Store from the home screen outside of the game. Log into the game and buy it via the in-game store. So yeah, basically, if you're going to be doing your Caliber purchases, it's best to do it right there in the game, which is basically how I do it anyway. I've noticed some comments saying that, hey, I have had major delays in receiving Caliber when I purchased them outside of the actual game in any way, shape, or form. So it's best not to do that, and yeah, play it safe. I would definitely not purchase Caliber outside of the actual game itself. Maybe some people actually do this, I don't know, but yeah, if you're tempted to try it, I wouldn't recommend it. All right, so we got to talk about, once again, yes, the bunny controversy. Now, is it a symptom of a much more basic problem? Let's find out what Frost King had to say here.
Okay, before we even start to read this, again, I don't get why people complain.
I'm not going to comment on whether Bunny, Valby, or Luna needs a nerf because it's irrelevant. What I will
Holy shit, he's right on the money.
say is this: there's a reason Bunny and the AoE squad have become so prevalent. Quite simply, these characters offer the path of least resistance for grinding items in-game compared to the more weapons-based counterparts. The general consensus is that Bunny makes grinding easier and less boring because it takes forever to do it using a normal target-based descendant, while others who don't use her feel that she's too OP But I just point out that literally every character in this game can demolish enemies in mass with a little module tweaking and building just as is, or depending on the enemies, even better than Bunny, you just have to build it, which by the way,
Fucking thank you! Thank you! Somebody who recognizes. You can do just as much damage with Viessa, for example. And I can put some serious hurt out depending on what I do with. If I spec for Enzo's rockets, I can put some serious hurt out. I actually use it to get rid of small mobs that are just wandering around the map when I'm running around the maps, grinding out the vaults, trying to get materials for crafting, and I'm also hunting for a couple of his modules still, and those are only in the Ultra Vaults. But yeah.
Hey, stay tuned. I'm going to show something really cool here in just a moment with one Descendant. Now it says, so we're not debating on whether Bunny and crew need a nerf. We're essentially saying the grind system, loot drop, percentages, etc. are set up too heavy, and that Bunny and crew have become the path of least resistance to do efficiently. And that the other Descendants are lacking an effective means to farm as efficiently as them. Nerfing the AoE characters isn't going to remedy the problem some of you are having, only exacerbate it. We should be looking at the weight of materials drop percentages being as visible, and what could be tweaked on the ground floor to make the entire game more enjoyable for everyone. There's a reason you see so many of these AoE characters being deployed, and that reason is what we should be addressing, not trying to nerf characters. Yeah, and someone said, I just want the Bunny players to stay in the damn circle when the mission objective calls for it. Yeah. But
Okay. It is what I've been saying. It is an expansion of what I have been saying. Stop whining about Bunny. The reason people like Bunny and Valby and the other one is because they make it faster. People complain about them in the dungeons, which I can understand to a point. In the dungeon instances, it's harder to pick everything up loot wise or sort because the Bunny players want to get it done. And that's understandable. That's part of the reason you run Bunny, to get shit done. And I don't even try and kill enemies for life orbs for Gley if I'm running Gley in a dungeon like that. I just spec her out for her 1 and her 3 ability and have done her frenzy ability and the other one at 3 and just have done with it for ultimate ammo builds or unlimited ammo builds, and not even worry about it. Good Bunny players are a godsend, even in stealth missions. Say you're running are not as strong health wise and all that, and damage output wise. Sharon, but you've really spec'd her out for stealth and spent the time and gold for stealth and Kuiper for stealth on the modules for that. Well, then a really good Bunny that waits just out of sight of the main enemy pack and then uses long distance maneuvering on their grapple to leap in and insta-kill everything in the fucking ring right after you hit the last reactor is a godsend, because it lets you reset it that much faster. Now, I have mine spec'd out as a mix for max stealth and max output on the swords. So I pretty much insta-kill everything, and then if I don't kill, even though I don't insta-kill the boss in the outpost, it does enough damage that it doesn't take me but a couple of shots to deal with the boss. Which clears out the rest of the pack. But yeah, Bunny and the rest of them make farming for stuff a breeze. That's why people gravitate to them.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I've had a lot of good luck with that, getting on teams where they actually all get into the circle. So it's been surprising. But anyway, back to this whole issue. It is interesting. Again, one thing I think that they could do, and I've said it, previously, is just add a lot more mobs if the game's engine would allow for it. And I think that would make the game a lot more fun. All right, so yeah, mentioning Bunny, I did want to share this with you guys.
No, because if you're farming for something, dude, it's not going to make it more fun. Part of the reason we run Bunny and the rest of them is because of the mobs. The Bunny and the rest of them insta-kill. Basically. You're just going to make it a slog for the players that don't run them. And it's already that anyway, depending on your build.
Check it out. 2 million damage Bunny high voltage build. Nice. So it says, hello everyone, my first build post here. I hope you like it. And he goes on to showcase his build. You guys can pause the screen here to see exactly what he's working with. And he did say this Bunny can kill and survive anything. It has great survivability and a flex slot, electric sink, and what you can throw on any of the immune mods for extra survivability during boss fights. It hits about 2 million in WNG hard mode and about 1 million against Colossus. I used 2 pieces of Supernova and 2 Annihilation for infinite uptime on my 3. You can switch out both the defense and health mods for similar versions, Spear and Shield, etc. But I prefer the extra survivability. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. So yeah, you guys can try to outbuild this one if it's even possible, or try to match this one. But this one looks like it was quite a bit of work and pretty badass to see there. Now, mentioning badass stuff, we gotta talk about Eugen. Check it out right here. Proliferating Allergy Showcase. More info in the comments, and this is really cool. You can see how widespread the absolute carnage and damage is with this ability. Look at that. Absolutely wipes out everyone. So I think that, as we get further into the game, and someone also noted right here, say this, it's good to see people who are starting to figure out other builds. Wait until you build a vacuum Leppy. I clear whole maps while stationary. So yeah, it's not necessarily going to be as powerful as Bunny, some people might argue, but damn, that is really, really...
Vacuum Lepic refers to, although you probably know this if you play, refers to using the void generator that pulls in everybody into the center, and then you drop your grenade on the pack.
Powerful. I think a lot of this stuff combined, once we head into those mega dungeons, will be super helpful. So I'm curious to see how things will change in the future, and your opinions will change about current builds based off of what we're going to be getting with those mega dungeons. Yeah, but also this is a problem with Eugen though. Check it out. So apparently Eugens cannot start any void fragments and can't kill that immunity Vulgus alone.
Interesting.
Is this the problem that Nexon should address, or players should use the Eugen only against Colossus, or this guy deserves a buff a little bit for passability, health regeneration out of combat, or a bit of DPS buff for allies or for himself? What do you guys say? A lot of people are saying this. I think they have done a bad job with bouncing. Whoa, shots fired there. And especially support classes. Just because he's a healer, it doesn't mean his entire unmodded kit got to be so single-minded. Same with Luna, who should have at least one ability change to deal damage without needing a mod. A lot of upvotes on that one and agreement about that. So yeah, I did a video.
You can't output damage with support. It's generally just weapons based. Now, I can't really speak for Luna or Eugen since I don't use them, but it looks like that allergy thing, that allergen, is a mass killer when you spec for it. You just have to spec for it. So I don't see where that statement from that particular commenter fully holds water.
Saying that there would be adjustments coming up here, balance changes.
Although from what
like
I've seen on Luna, it's accurate.
Nexon, but with each season. So that's something that we could look forward to. All right, so now it's time to go over your top comments with my AI companion.
Hi, welcome.
Here we go. All right, so the first top comment is this one right here.
Say it with me. Amorph us. Amorphous is wild. LOL. I don't know.
All right, let me try it.
Did I say that correct?
A mofo.
Emo for us.
Wait, hold on,
Ammo
hold
for us.
on. Ammo for us all.
Amorphous.
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 I did it. Woo! So next up, we have this one right here.
Has anyone else run into the issue where mission monsters or even void bosses run away? Even in solo, it seems like the mobs occasionally target a random other player doing something entirely different on the map.
Yes, happens all the time. Especially when I'm running around doing the vault grind with Enzo. Although I've watched people doing, I watched a pair of a pair of bunnies do it yesterday. And tried to keep up and failed because they were running around getting all the vaults opened before I could get to them. Apparently, it's a good way to do it. So long as you're fast enough on the clicker to hit your marks for the the vault unlocks. But yes, I will fly past somebody doing one of the missions, and the enemies will spawn or come from where they're already running towards the the people doing the mission and come after me, and then I have to either if they come in a pack, I have to shoot them, which pulls me into the mission, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I don't mind helping people.
I have noticed that from time to time. It's not like something that happens to me all the time, but I'm sure they will address it down the road. I just don't think it's like on their priority list, but maybe it should be because like
Yeah, it is
one of the top
annoying,
topics,
but
so.
it's
all right.
I
Next
don't know.
up, this one right here.
Give Ajax a taunt on expulsion and void walk.
Yeah, so a lot of the characters, the tank-like characters, lack the taunt, which a lot of people want to draw aggro from like the boss or mobs, so that they can allow the other characters to really, dominate. So yeah,
Gotcha.
there definitely needs to be some sort of taunt mechanic for tank characters. Totally agree. All right, next up we have this one right here.
I hope it's that redhead sniper we saw in the story for a brief second. She looked cool.
Could be, and it's a new Descendant that's coming out here in late August.
Hello? Yes, please. I have a thing for redheads. I love the guide. The model they used for her. The interesting thing is the woman who voices her is an older. I think it's. I want to say she had brown hair, or brunette, but it was an older lady. And I say older, and I'm graybeard, but and I love her voice. So I hope she does more voiceover work in the games I play.
So she either has a huge rocket launcher, sniper rifle, or some people say it could be a Gatling gun, but I'm thinking it is a sniper rifle.
Ooh, yes, that's cute.
Oh yes.
Yes, redheaded
All right,
sniper,
so
please.
Here we go. Next one is this one right here.
The most requested thing they could do is remove the damn mounted requirement on ultimate reactors for the love of God and adjust bonus stats to match the element of said reactor, while a chill boost is in a fire reactor makes 0 sense.
I know. I totally agree. I've noticed that, and I think they're gonna have to rework a lot of the reactors down the road. If they do reworks, it would be dedicated to the seasons. So I don't think they would do it just out of the blue. It would be reworking them for whatever
It
like
would be
seasonal.
purposeful.
Yeah.
Yes, so many people are complaining about this. Like you said, it makes exactly 0 sense to have a chill stat on a burn reactor, or although an electric stat on if they come up, because they don't have a specific water reactor for Valby because she's the only water character in the game. But if they come out with more water-based characters, the electric status on effect on a water reactor would actually make sense because water is a conductor.
Purposeful.
Okay.
Exact. That's a good word for it. All right. One more. Here we go.
I hope one of the biggest problems in this game will be addressed eventually, which is the XP gain rate for both your Descendant and your weapons. Progression is simply too slow. And players are even using exploits to bypass this issue. Perhaps every time you apply Catalyst to either a weapon or descendant, increase the amount of EXP you earn, making the grind more bearable.
Yeah, and you know, I think that with this one, I've seen so many divisive opinions that some people are like, hey, you know what? It's fine how it is. I like the grind. And then other players are like, I'm doing redundant content over and over. And I think it's the redundancy of it, and they need to spread out XP throughout more of the content, have a wider variety of, you know, ways to get really good XP into farms, instead of just like one or two ways that people just have to do over and over and over again.
Variety is the spice of life.
It is.
Yes, it is. I agree. I've personally found the easiest way is to just, you know, and other people have said this from the beginning, the easiest way to get XP really fast, especially in the beginning, is to just run the Kingston Kuiper defense mission. You can get, depending on whether you stick it out for the full set of levels, you know, the full set of waves or not, 20 levels in like 10 minutes. Because it only takes, well, yeah, 10-15 minutes. It's not that hard. I mean, and most of the time lately, I'm running the destroy the what's that one in the Agna Desert? Destroy something or other. That wave mission. I'm running that one with my Sharon a lot. Just grinding out XP for weapons, although more often than not I'm using the swords. But so it kind of defeats the purpose of gaining XP. But yeah, although I saw a video the other day saying go to Vespers and run the Void Reactor there, and then after you've killed the first 60 enemies, reset and redo it. Just do it over and over again. I don't know.
Absolutely. All right, so there it is, the latest happenings around the first Descendant. I was about to say the last Descendant. But thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned here for more, and I will see you all next time.
Thank you to Open World Games for the videos. I have subbed to him. If you get a shot, if I'd give him a shout and a sub. Open World Games. I'm enjoying his videos recently since this came out. Yeah. That is all, boys and girls. Thank you for watching. I will see you again soon.